Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 4th to the 10th of August 2025. So this week we have Mars moving into Libra around the 6th or 7th, and this will immediately make an opposition to Neptune and Saturn. So we've been talking about Neptune moving very close to Saturn, both retrograde and both heading back for a final dip into the waters of Pisces. But for now we're in Aries, and where Neptune is a giant tuning fork, what are we tuning into? What kind of energies are we able to receive if we've cleared and stilled our vessel? Then Saturn would be the embodiment of that. The energies coming into the body and our ability to hold them and hold true. So with Mars opposition, Mars on the higher level can find the perspective and the spiritual balance in things, and on a lower level can bring up repressed anger or anything that's not in balance for resolution. And while Neptune and Saturn are travelling together for a fair while, this will be a very short burst, so probably refined to this week, maybe even echoes into next week. But are you ready to be shown where you're not in balance, where you haven't cleaned your vessel, where you're not embodying your authentic self, in order that you can make those changes? We're also in the last week of Mercury retrograde, so on Monday Mercury will turn direct again, but we've already reached the 6th degree this week. So looking back to see what our Mercury retrograde story has been, especially back to the 18th of July. So 18 July to 11 August, we saw the signs beforehand. We'll get the rewards afterwards if we've attended to business. But what has been your story with Mercury retrograde in Leo? The heart-mind. Could be speaking truthfully, taking up space. Could be creative expression. Could be pride and ego. Depends where that is and how well it's aspected for you. But since July we've had Uranus in Gemini. So this is an assistant really, because Uranus in Gemini is going to show us where we're one-sided. It's going to help us to raise above, two-team mentality and heighten our perspective. And as Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury, have you felt that assistance? Have you found yourself getting fairer, not needing to react so quickly, considering other people's perspective, listening more, being fair-minded, being master of your own mind? So how has that gone down with the Mercury retrograde? Have you learnt to listen to your heart more? Have you learnt to be more centred, not living in the head? Have you learnt to be more balanced? Have you learnt to communicate differently? Most communication is way outside verbal. Have you noticed changes in the way that you communicate with other people, or even your internal narrative? Have you made sovereign changes to how you speak to yourself on a daily basis, breaking repetitive stories, beliefs and thoughts, liberating yourself to think on a higher level or tune into higher thought forms? So altogether it feels like a bit of a mental week with the Mercury retrograde in its combination with Uranus at the beginning degrees of Gemini and Mars going into air sign Libra. But there's lots of fire around with the Sun and Mercury in Leo, Mars being a fiery planet, and Saturn and Neptune in Aries, a fire sign. So lots of fire and air this week. But to calm us down, we actually have Venus moving close to Jupiter, getting ready to make a conjunction next week. So Venus is in Cancer, Jupiter is in Cancer. Venus will be there for a few weeks, Jupiter's there for a year. So there is some water in the star charts this week, centering and clearing our emotional state, our subconscious waters. So if Mars brings anything up in Libra for recalibration and balance, or if Mercury retrograde has shown any repressed anger or power struggles, then Venus and Jupiter moving together can actually help to resolve and clear those things in our subconscious waters that we're carrying, emotional beliefs about ourselves that strip our sovereignty. So with Venus meeting Jupiter next week and Mercury turning direct next week, this week feels like a preparation week, tend to what is going on, mainly the opposition of Mars and Neptune and Saturn. Mars being the ruler of Aries, the sign that Neptune and Saturn are in. Will there be a reflect back of something that we're putting out? And it's not to get angry with the messenger, it's to realise that we're being shown something for our own self-improvement and self-mastery. Or can we use Mars to raise up our energy and tune into the higher frequencies and blast out anything that's stopping us from embodying those? So this can all happen in multiple ways depending on how aspected your chart is. And if you'd like to look at that, I am available zoehind7@gmail.com for chart readings, including tarot, learning your birth chart, looking ahead to what energies and transits will be happening for you. Finding direction, purpose, alignment, rebalancing relationships, all of those and more are possible. Sessions are recorded, MP3 for you to listen back to, and I also offer specific courses on astrology, tarot, numerology and more. Or you can have some coaching in order to get to the depths and pull up some of those mental emotional stories that are holding you back or blocking the pathway to receiving higher frequency. So quite a mental, quite an active, feisty kind of a week. See it as a message and a lesson. Don't take things personally. Stay focused on keeping yourself still and clear to elevate and receive. The real workshop here is learning to embody these new energies. Anything else is actually helping us clear away that which is not helping us. So see it as a good thing. And next week we've got Mercury direct and Venus conjunct Cancer. So everything's happening at the right time and for a reason. It's good to be still, introspective, and work from a higher perspective in order to be able to see the bigger picture in all of this. So wishing you a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.